Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with your December 4th edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast, your home for the irrational fan for Vancouver Canucks, BC Lions, and all things CFL. I am your host, of course, Jake Hughes. Alongside me, the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing today?
I am doing well.
That's good to hear. I can't believe we're already in December. We've done, I think this is episode 45. We haven't
That's
missed a
almost
week.
a year of shows.
We haven't missed a week. I don't think I've missed a week at all. You've missed a couple
I missed a whole bunch.
with your traveling and your fancy dancy living. But
Sorry, I
40
have a life.
Yeah, I work around this for my life.
Hey, I told you if you wanted to change the time, we could go live when I was in Europe, but you didn't want to change the time.
Yeah, because I would have had to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Sucks to be you.
You should have woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Can I make a suggestion?
You can always make a suggestion.
Can we change the music for 2024? I hate that song.
I enjoy the song. I'm actually working on a bunch of things behind the scenes that I haven't talked to you about, which we'll talk about after the show off air. But
folks, hold on. Stop. Nope. Stop talking for a sec. I should do it this way. Stop talking. Folks, he's always doing this to me. Carry on.
It's true. No, it's true. I like it's because when for those who don't know, I have ADHD. So when I get what I call the dopamine, I just follow the dopamine. And there are days like today where I worked, I got all of my stuff that I needed to get done. And then the dopamine took me on a trail that I did not expect. And all of a sudden I ended up doing things. I was like, I could probably do this for the podcast. I should probably tell someone. And instead of telling anyone, I just did it. So I just did things. But
what was the line last week? No, it was while we were watching hockey. Jake came out. We watched hockey on Wednesday night. We watched the
Thursday night. Thursday night we watched the Vegas game together.
And we were talking about something. I asked Jake a question, and he answered it. It was a dumb question, and he answered it with a smart ass answer. And I looked at him. I said, well, I guess that's why you're the host and I'm only the co-host.
No, it wasn't. To be fair, it wasn't. It was a stupid. I think I said something along the lines with like 30 seconds to go, is we've scored more and less. And then we turned over the puck, and I said, "Well, you can't score if you don't have the puck."
And I said,
"Guys, that's why I'm the host, and he's the co-host. And because I am the host, I want to bring this up because it's something that was tweeted out just about an hour ago, 50 odd minutes ago.
50.
As per Elliot Friedman, the cap estimate for next year, given at the Board of Governors meetings, is approximately $87.675 million, which is an increase of $4.175 million.
That's a player.
That would be a player if
right?
your team if you're a team that managed your cap space properly.
Yeah.
The problem is as a Canucks fan, we have yet to do that.
No, that $4 million is going right into number 40's pocket. You know that. Everybody knows that.
$2.5 million of it is going towards Oliver Ekman-Larsson to play on a team that we have nothing to do with.
Are we still paying Luongo?
No, we're not paying Luongo, thank God. God, don't even start me on that shit.
We're actually honoring him coming up.
Yes, I don't know when that is.
He's going up on the Wall of Honor when Florida comes to town.
Yeah, when the Panthers are in town, he's going up the Ring of Honor. Nope, not this week.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Next week. I'm looking at the schedule.
When is
Thursday,
it?
December 14th.
That's it. That's the date. Don't you start with me, fella.
When I'm looking at the schedule.
You didn't tell me you were looking. You said you had no idea.
Guys, this is the shit I have to deal with. I hope you guys understand the shit that I have to deal with.
Hey, be careful. We're on Twitter today.
We are on Twitter today, or X, or whatever you want to call it, because I decided to click a button and it worked. And I wholeheartedly did not expect it to work on Twitter because I'm not paying Elon Musk for premium, and I didn't know if you could live stream to whatever he wants to call it
I knew
without being verified.
because I stream my other show when I do it on Twitter.
I had no idea if it actually worked or not.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Welcome, Twitter.
Welcome, Twitter. If you are chatting with us,
X's.
please let us know. I put up a poll this week on Twitter once we decided what we were talking about.
You did
About what's the most interesting story from this past week in the world of BC sports, and I kind of want to go in order of what the most interesting story is as per Twitter. I put it out this morning. I think next week I'm going to put it out Sunday, so I have a full day of people being able to take a chance to look at it. But the most interesting story, as per X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, is the Zadorov trade. Obviously, big news. The old man's looking.
Sorry, you said you put a poll on Twitter. I can't find it.
It's closed now, but it's definitely there. It's like 4 tweets down from the top.
Okay. I didn't get to vote.
Sorry, it's the 7th tweet down from the top.
I didn't get to vote.
Oh, well, if you were more active on social media.
See, this is what happens, folks. Jake doesn't tell me shit. He just does shit. And then he gets mad when I don't know shit. Because he doesn't tell me shit. In order for me to know shit, you have to tell me shit.
Or you get notifications for everyone you follow on Twitter because you're a psychopath. Maybe you should put the Hughes Sports Podcast, your show, our show, on your alerts so you get news as it's coming out. As I'm learning the news and it's coming out, you know what to post to Facebook.
Huh.
However, let's get back on track here. The Zadorov trade.
Love it.
Did we talk about the trade from last week? My brain is so scrambly from last week.
I don't think it had happened yet, had it?
I don't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it did because no.
Did we talk about it with Mr. Patterson?
His first game was against the Flames, which was Saturday.
No, not the Zadorov trade, the Beauvillier trade.
Oh, yeah, we touched on it very briefly. We didn't talk a lot about it.
Which there wasn't much to talk about because we all knew there was something happening as a part of it. So
exactly.
the 5th rounder we got for Beauvillier, packaged
next year's draft.
3rd rounder in 2 years.
Yeah.
Gets us Zadorov.
Like it.
What are your opinions on it?
I like it. I think he brings a couple things. Another huge freaking presence on the blue line. The guy's like 15 feet freaking tall. I think he's taller than the Chaos Giraffe.
He is not.
Isn't he? He's got to be close. He's going to look it up.
No, I think I'm not looking it up, actually. I think for some reason I want to say Tyler Myers is 6'8", and Zadorov is 6'6".
Okay.
Together, they're the tallest pair in the NHL.
And they did play together for a few lines. They weren't together all the time, I noticed, but they were together for a few times in that game.
Yeah, and Rick Tocchet talked about it.
Sorry. I like the fact that Zadorov will use his size to hit people, unlike Myers.
Yeah.
Myers is afraid to hit people. I think he's afraid he would hurt them if he hit them. Whereas Zadorov just doesnn't care.
Well, if you look back when Myers was the same age as Zadorov is, Myers played a very similar game, and that's what drew a lot of interest, I think, from the old regime in Benning and bringing Tyler Myers over, is he is that big physical defenseman, but as age catches up, especially with someone that big, you slow down a lot quicker than someone who's smaller.
Yes.
Especially playing a defensive position too, right? Like there's a lot of different factors happening. So I think it's just, I don't mind the trade. I don't mind the assets. I am just concerned that he's going to be a liability on the team.
Time will tell. I mean, that's you got to look into the crystal ball, and that's not the hat I got on right now. But and even then, I don't do that. But for the trade the purpose it serves, I don't think this is a long term. Like Zadorov, we're not going to build a team around Zadorov. right?
No,
He's
but
an addition. He's almost a rental player, I'll say, for 2 or 3 years.
the problem is his contract is coming up, so he is going to need a new contract. If we can sign him to something that's a team friendlier, a friendly team deal, then it's going to be something that's helpful. And it sounds like he does want to be in Vancouver. Like he asked for a trade from the Flames. He put Vancouver high up on his list, but it just feels like, and unless things change with a signing of Ethan Bear, Carson Soucy coming back, that very easily we could be overloaded if there's that Bear contract coming. And there's been a lot of rumors and innuendo about that Vancouver's very high on Bear and trying to re-sign him. If we do sign Bear, we now have too many players. We have too many defensemen, which is a
Well,
good.
and that's where I think we're not done. I think Bear is from all the rumor mills, from everything I've heard and all the different shows I've listened to, the whispers behind the scenes, it sounds like Bear is going to be playing in 2024 for the Canucks.
I hope so. I really do. Like, I hope that's the case. Soucy comes back early, should be back early January. And then do you make a trade can you trade Tyler Myers at that point?
I think, and I was going to finish my thought there, but you did it perfectly, is that's where I think you'll see a Myers and maybe a prospect go for and maybe even, I don't want to give away no more picks. No more picks given away. So,
but a prospect,
prospect
rather than a pick, someone who we don't have room for
maybe a third liner or even a fourth liner at that matter.
Well, and so there's also been a lot of talk, and I don't have this on our rundown here at all, but there's been a lot of talk that Kuzmenko isn't really gelling the way he did last year with Pettersson.
So right? What do you get when you put a Kuzmenko and a Myers together?
I'd be very shocked to make that trade, but can you drop Kuzmenko down to a third liner? Do Myers and second and okay, so you want to make a run this year. Myers and a second round pick does that get you a top 6 forward? Someone who can play with Miller and Besser, or someone who can play with PD and Mikheyev?
Yeah. I mean, you would never do that within your own conference, I wouldn't think. No. So now you'd be looking back east, who's available. I have no idea. You follow that crap better than I do. But I mean, it's fun to talk about it. Let's get through Christmas. Let's see what January. I think by the end of January, because when's trade deadline? Middle of Feb?
Believe it's middle of Feb. Let me look this up.
I want to say for some reason it's always right around Valentine's Day.
Usually is. This year it's a little bit later. I thought that. I don't know what in my brain was telling me it's not in February this year. It's March 8th. Friday, March 8th, 2024.
Okay. So you have all of February. So see where we are in the end of January. And then you have February to really do something. But as we've heard from Jeff Patterson when he was on the show, same with Darren DuPont when he was on the show, our management team loves to act early.
Yeah.
So do they act in January?
So since opening night of 2023-24, there have been 8 trades completed in the NHL.
5 of them from us.
No, 4.
4.
50% of the trades since the start of the season have included the Vancouver Canucks.
Yes.
And now, like, 3 of those trades have featured players with a salary greater than $1 million.
Well, and when you look at it, those trades, if my brain is working correctly, one of them's for your favorite goalie, DeSmith, because you never say his name. The other one was Lafferty.
Yep.
And
then Zadorov and the trade with Beauvillier to get the pick to get Zadorov.
Okay. Right. I was like, hold on, I can only think of 3 players. But
because the other one was offloading a player to make space.
So really, those three players, let's just take the two that have been around long enough that we could give an opinion, because Zadorov's played one game and he scored no. Did they ever take that goal away from Zadorov, by the way? They
No.
did give it to him.
So when they first announced the goal, they gave it to Pettersson.
Yes.
They then changed it. So they went back after the game and changed it to Zadorov.
And because when I looked up the stats, it was Zadorov. It was,
and I know we talked about it. And I don't know if we've talked about it on the show before. The 99% of the time, the league will not make a change unless the team is okay with it on a goal change post game. So I'm sure they went to Petey and said, "Petey, do you care?" And he was like, "No."
Give it to him.
Give it to him. Give it to the big guy.
Nice.
Because that's a huge story, right? You come in, you go from a team that you said was dysfunctional and very vocal about it to a team that you say you want to be here. You've got other Russians and you've got other agent mates with you.
But let's be honest. We're his second choice. We're the bridesmaid. He announced this, his agent announced that he wanted to trade in Toronto when the Canucks were playing Toronto. They said blatantly Toronto was their number one team. And the Flames went, we're not trading you to Toronto because we want to be jerks.
Yeah, because why would the Calgary Flames have a good relationship with Brad Treliving?
Yeah. Huh.
And I honestly think, and I don't think it's like I want to because of one reason, one person from Zadorov's case, but yeah, I want to go somewhere where I feel wanted, and Treliving made me feel wanted.
Well, yeah,
this organization's been a dumpster fire. Doesn't matter. It's clearly, and he said it. It's not the coach. It's not the management. There's something wrong in the team.
I agree. There is a issue with what's going on in Calgary. You hear it every day here. Living here, we see it.
Yep. But I mean, again, I'm interested in the trade. My only concern is that you have two bigger guys.
Yeah.
If they're going to continue to play them together, and again, Rick Tocchet talked about it post game that they tried to limit Zadorov's minutes because he's new to the team and is learning the systems, but you still need to play him, right? And if you're going to play them together, what happens if Tyler Myers goes and does chaos draft stuff? How is Zadorov going to reply?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big question because we haven't seen him in that type of space before.
And I think that's why you saw Zadorov playing with different line mates throughout that game. Yeah. It'll be interesting. It's going to be it's something the Canucks haven't had the luxury of in a long, long time, where we can say if we can get Bear back, and once Soucy gets healthy, we're in a really good position defensively.
Yeah.
I mean, would we like a right-handed defenseman? Of course. So would the other 30 plus teams in the league.
Yeah, like having a right shot defenseman is a luxury at this point. And we have one of the top right shot defensemen in the league on our top line. We get Bear, we have a solid bottom four pairing right-hand defenseman.
Yeah.
We get rid of Myers, we lose the liability of a right shot defenseman. But I think Zadorov can play on the right side.
What's that?
I think Zadorov can play on the right side comfortably.
Oh, I'm sure he could. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't think it's an issue.
No. Also, so we got just kind of off subject there, but you're talking about the acquisitions, like Sam Lafferty. Looking at his stats, he's been phenomenal. He has the second best PDO on the team. And I know we've talked about PDO, and I don't know if we've ever actually explained what the stat is, but your PDO is your save percentage when you're on the ice plus your shooting percentage.
Save percentage?
Yeah, so what your What the
How can
save
you
percentage
save?
is,
How can a regular player save a goal?
they don't.
You said
Yeah, they
save.
don't. Yes, you when you're on the ice and a goal goes in, that goes against your save percentage. When you're on the ice and a shot gets saved because it's a poor shot because you're holding to the outside, it's a very good defensive stat for a lot of players. It's better than plus minus because you could be on a team, you could be the only defensive defenseman on a team, the only true defensive player, and your minus is minus 30, but your save percentage might be 900.
So these are more of your
Nerd
analytics.
stats. Yeah, nerd stats, advanced analytics.
I
God
know
forbid
you
we use
you
numbers.
and Harum
Yeah.
we're talking about this, and I glazed over. It was
Yeah.
like,
So not only does Sam Lafferty have a 950 save percentage when he's on the ice, meaning,
that's huge.
yeah, he also has a 13.9% 5-on-5 shooting percentage. He's played, how many games has he played? 25 games, over a quarter of the season, at 13.9% shooting. That's
That means
insane.
that means he shoots the puck like 14% of the time.
No, that means the puck goes in the back of the net 14% of the time that he shoots it.
What?
If he took 100 shots, he would have 14 goals.
Holy. That seems like a lot. That seems high, is it not?
Very high. That's
Okay.
insane. The
What
average
is
shooting
Hughes?
Hughes, give me 1 second. I have it
Yeah.
up here. Quinn Hughes is 12.5%.
Okay, so he's quite high too.
So we have, let me
Jeez.
sort this. We have Andrei Kuzmenko at 14.1%.
Oh.
These are just people above or at league average. We have Brock Besser, Mark Friedman, JT Miller, Quinn Hughes, Philip Hronik, Ilya Mikheyev, Elias Pettersson, Nils Höglander, Sam Lafferty, and Andrei Kuzmenko. All at 11% or higher. And Tyler Myers is 10.9%.
That's insane.
It's crazy. We have, looking at players who have played at least 10 games, we only have 3 players below a 1,000 PDO, which is like the most average player will be 1,000. We'll get to 1,000 by the end of your season.
What are other teams? Like, are we that much better than other teams?
When it comes to shooting percentage, I believe so. Like, I'm gonna
I don't get this shit. Like, I just don't
let's pull up
understand.
Vegas because I honestly don't know. I haven't looked at it. So let's pull up Vegas.
Yeah.
Their top performer, Michael Amadio,
Yeah.
shooting percentage is 11.1%.
Wow.
They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players lower than 1,000 on their PDO.
No.
Their highest is only 1065. The Canucks' highest is 1100.
Now, does that mean, follow my thought process here?
Yep.
Should the Canucks be shooting more?
I don't.
Because you got to remember, we're being outshot in almost every game lately. It's pathetic.
Like, I don't have the stats in front of me, and I'm trying to see if I can pull them up. Team stats. I think we're very low in
shot attempts.
I'm trying to find it. Shots for per game. We're in the top half of the. Where are we? Vancouver. Where is Vancouver? Why can't I find our logo? Yeah, we're bottom 4. We're the fifth least in shots for per game.
So we need to, and that's something. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing when you're looking at it? We're 18. What is it? We're 12. No, 16, 8, and 1.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We're winning. Do we really want them to shoot more?
Well, and again, just because you're shooting more doesn't mean you're getting high danger chances. And just like Dom says in chat here, low percent shows lots of high danger chances given up, right? So we're shooting from areas that are going to cause damage to the teams.
Yeah.
right?
And I mean, you watch us move the puck around in the opponent's zone. It's insane. Um, I don't think I mean, as I've said it, I don't know, ad nauseum on this podcast, how long I've been a Canuck fan. I don't remember seeing a Canuck team with such puck movement. And I don't just mean on the power play. I'm talking 5-on-5. Like they're tossing that puck. Hughes gets that puck on the blue line. His hockey sense is magical is the only word. I think we used that a couple times when we were watching.
Like
He's magical.
he does like, and I say this, someone who's watched a lot of hockey and been through like some of the best times in the Canucks history and some of the worst times in Canucks history, like the most recent history. I've never seen a defenseman or a player do what Quinn Hughes is able to do on the ice.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't think I've seen a team gel as well as this team. I know we talk about stats and PDO and shot percentage and blah 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 blah. You get to have chemistry on your team.
Yeah.
2010, 2009, 2011, this team had chemistry.
100%.
2023, this team, yes, I had to look at my screen to make sure it was 2023. I don't know why. That was funny.
Almost 2024.
This team has chemistry, and it's cool to see. So, I mean, whew, I'm getting excited. Oh, I just realized I didn't put my flag up. Oops. I'm getting excited, but cautiously excited.
Cautious. And that's like so many people are like, oh, you must be having a really great time. I'm like, no, I'm very cautious this year. We're 16-8-1. That's fantastic. If you told me at the beginning of the year we'd start the year 16-8-1, I would have laughed you out of the building. I would have been like, oh, okay, give me the drugs you're smoking because that's way too good. Like this team is, I see an improvement to this team, but we have I think 10 points up. I'm going to pull it up here.
10 points up on Calgary.
10 points up on Calgary. By point percentage, it goes Kings, Golden Knights, Canucks. So technically we're in the third spot in the Pacific by point percentage.
Oh,
and
I
I
see.
know that
Yeah.
confuses people, but it's the best way to look at stats during the season because we have 4 games in hand. We have 4 games more played than the Kings.
Yeah.
So looking at point percentage, the Kings are going to be ahead of the Golden Knights and they're going to be ahead of us. We have 33 points. The Flames were one game.
Kings. Do any other team but the Kings. We're gonna have to listen to our friend. I can't say the word on.
Our
You know
good
who I'm
friends.
talking about.
Our
Carlo.
good friends. I'm surprised he hasn't come on. He hasn't jumped into our chats at all to talk about how CFL's not real or
the Canucks suck and the Kings
except
rule.
the Canucks don't suck.
Yeah, that's why he hasn't jumped in our chats.
But looking at it, so the Flames are 1 game less played than the Canucks and 10 points behind.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge this early in the year.
Well, that's where we were last year out of a playoff spot.
We were where the Oilers are last year.
Yeah, going, we're done. Let's think about next year. Blow it up. And what did they do?
Until they made a coaching change, then we're all like, interesting. Can they do it? Can they make it? Because that's what we do as Canucks
mediocre.
fans. But we might criticize and rightfully so criticize the way this management team has done a lot of things when it comes to management wise, but holy shit, did it work out?
It's almost like they're getting paid because they know what they're doing.
And the problem so my only problem was the way they dealt with Bruce Boudreau. That's been my biggest grievance. And they handled it so terribly.
There's no defending that.
No.
Right?
But they've handled everything else so well. And bringing in Rick Tocchet, who's a breath of fresh air when he talks to the media. I don't know how often you listen to his press conferences, but literally he'll say a guy's week to week, and then he'll say day to day. And it's not like week to week where I'm like, okay, it'll be it'll be months. When Rick Tocchet says it's week to week, and then 5 days later says, or a week later says, the guy's day to day, the guy's in the lineup 6 days later at the most.
Exactly. What I like is watching him when they have the camera on him behind the bench. His passion for the game just shines through his eyes.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this many, many, many times over the years as you were growing up. I love reading people. I'm a people watcher. I think that's why I enjoy poker so much. I watch him a lot when they show him, just to see his interaction with the players and the passion he has behind the bench. I mean, not all, most coaches have that passion because they wouldn't be in this business if they didn't have the passion.
And
We
they wouldn't be
wouldn't
at
be
the
doing
level.
what we do if we didn't have the passion.
Exactly.
But he takes it to a different level. He exudes it. The way the other game, Saturday against Calgary, Zadorov came back to the bench and he had just laid out somebody. And Tocchet went up and gave him a pat on the head. Just gave him a tap on the back of the head. Like, good job, buddy. And I was like, you know what? I bet you that there is why Zadorov wanted to leave Calgary.
Well, and not just that, but like that we might view it as just a good job. It might have also been, hey, next time you're out there, I want you to do this one thing. Yes. And then he goes out there and does that one thing. And he said, hey, I told you, right? It worked. And a player like Rick Tocchet was a good player. Was he a great player? I don't know. I honestly don't remember watching him play.
Was he an elite player? I wouldn't put him in the elite group like a Wayne Gretzky or a Messi.
But he
or a Linden or the Sedin twins. But was he a great player? Yeah.
He was a player that every single organization would want to have on his.
Oh, of course, yes, for sure.
And it feels like he takes that and he's like, he knows what it means to be that to these players. He knows how competitive they are and is able to and I look at JT Miller, the change in JT Miller's presence on the bench. He knows how to rein in someone who's an emotional player like JT Miller because he is that emotional player. He knows what he's going through.
Look at
earlier this year, he said, go sit at the end of the bench and compose yourself for 5 minutes.
Guess what?
Benched him.
Miller has never been better than he had since that benching.
Right? Kuzmenko's not working. Hey, Kuzmenko, we're gonna put you in the. We're not just taking you off the top line. We're gonna put you in the booth. Watch a couple games.
Yeah.
Does it hurt the team? Maybe, but I'm sure that Tocchet and the Sedins and Adam Foote and Sergei Gonchar said these are the 10 things we want you to look at, and when you come back for practice, we go. This is what I want to hear from you.
100%. 100%.
Sorry, you put your finger up like I thought you had something to say.
Nope.
Okay. One thing I did want to talk about, the game we watched together as the Canucks go 2-1 this week, which is great, which is exactly what we wanted.
Yep.
What Jeff Patterson said would be a beautiful, perfect result. The loss to Vegas. Yeah, you called it. You did call it. The loss to Vegas, though. And I know this is very Canucks focused, Canucks negativity, but did that loss show you what it showed me in that there's a huge gap between a Stanley Cup contending team and a playoff contending team?
I think so. It just showed like they were just that much better than us.
In every aspect of every part of the game.
Did the Canucks have a bad game and Vegas have a good game? Sure, but it shouldn't have been like that. If you were playing the top 1 and 2, if you're literally first and second in our conference at that point by points, and the number 1 team comes in fifth game of a road trip. I think it was the fifth game of a road trip. They're tired. They've been on the road for 10 days pretty much, maybe more. And I really hope the Canucks owned them, to be honest. And they didn't.
No.
What does that mean? Does it mean that we can't beat them in a 7-game series?
Again, it was one game.
That's the point I'm trying to make. It's one game, and it's only one game.
And just so we're clear, it's not just our division in the Pacific Division; it's the Western Conference as a whole by points.
Yeah,
Team 1 versus Team 2. But it's. I think there is a concern there as a fan that, and this next week we'll talk about the upcoming schedule, but this week will really prove to me where the Canucks are at when it comes to Stanley Cup contending against Stanley Cup contending teams. So we have the New Jersey Devils, who are a favorite to make it to the Cup, as well as the Carolina Hurricanes, who have been favorites for the last 4 or 5 years to make it to the Cup.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think one game is reason to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't go all in on this season. But should we be really going all in on this season?
Well,
should we mortgage the future for this one season?
I think you can mortgage a portion of your team.
We already have.
I think we're building something here could last a long, long time. You look at our top guys.
Yep.
Petey.
Yep.
Hughes. Miller. They're young.
Miller's not.
They still have a lot of hockey left in them. More than 5 years. Miller's not going to retire within 5 years.
How old were the Sedins when they retired?
I don't know.
I'm literally typing it. How old were the Sedins when they
How old is Miller?
Retired? Sedins were 37 years old. Are you putting JT Miller on the same level as the Sedin twins longevity wise?
Can they play? Can he play as long or longer? Yes.
You think?
And the reason I think that is, man, it sounds like I'm trying to dish on Miller, but he doesn't and hasn't played at the intensity that the Sedin twins did. Has he played at his intensity? Yeah. He's played at the top of his intensity.
Now, I do see what you're saying.
To what the twins were.
However, the counter argument to that is that JT Miller plays a way more physical game than the Sedins ever did.
Yeah, but in a different way.
100%. Don't get me wrong. The Sedins took a lot of physical punishment from other players, but banging in front of the net was never their specialty. Where JT Miller will get into those dirty areas a lot more. JT Miller is my age, by the way. He's 30, so he's turning 31.
Yeah, so
in 2024.
I still think he's got 5 years left. 4 years. Let's say 4 or 5 years. We're building something that can last 3 or 4 years is what I'm getting at. We're not building for tomorrow. We're building something that could last a little bit of time, and we can build on it for 3 or 4 years if we do it correctly. The key is we got to keep adding. We got to keep the core part, but keep adding.
Yeah,
you get rid of the Myers, truthfully, you get rid of the Zodorovs because they're older players.
Zodorov's not that old. Zodorov's pretty young.
He's been around a long time, hasn't he?
I don't think so.
I think so. You think so?
He is 28 only.
Oh, he's only 28. I thought he was well into his 30s. Okay, so he's got a few years left.
He came to North America when he was 16 to play hockey.
Yeah.
So his English his English is really good. He was drafted in the 2013 entry draft, which I believe was the same year that 10 years. Bo Horvat was picked in.
So what was the question again? Where did we went on a rant there? the loss to Vegas, does it mean anything? Yeah, it does. Of course it does. Does it ruin our season? No, not even. It's one loss. We're still 16-8-1.
Yeah,
Now
it's
the
so
question
that's what.
was, how were they going to react in Calgary?
Yeah, and they came back and they played their style of game. Don't get
Yes.
me wrong, Calgary didn't make it easy on them either. It was a
No,
really good game.
it was a fun game to watch. Whistle to whistle, like from the start to finish. It was just a fun game to watch. Obviously, I enjoyed it a little bit more than a Flames fan would have, because my team won. But yeah, so I mean, the Vegas the Vegas loss. Eh. Now, if we switch that around and we beat Vegas, it's huge.
So now, and this is something I was listening to with Thomas Drance and I can't remember Jamie Dodd on Canucks Talk
Yeah.
on Sportsnet 960, Sportsnet 650. 960 is the fan here. I get so confused with which station is which, but they were talking about like, yeah, losing to Vegas sucks, and everyone's pretending like it's a huge loss. If you swap the two games and you beat Vegas and lost to Calgary, that's actually way more detrimental to Vancouver than it is the way it happened.
Yeah.
Because Calgary's chasing us. That's a 4-point swing for Calgary to stay in fourth spot and out of the top 3 guaranteed into the playoffs.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, yeah, it sucks. It would have been great to get that win against Vegas, or at least be competitive, because it wasn't even competitive. But I mean, again, there's lots of season left, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Exactly.
Another thing before we get into this week's schedule, something that I wanted to talk about that broke today. Hunter Brustevich, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, snubbed by Team USA World Juniors. And I am going out on a limb and saying it's an absolute travesty. He didn't even get invited to camp. That's a player of his caliber in the OHL who's playing in the best, let me repeat this again for any American viewers, the best major junior league in the world, in the CHL, is leading points, leading assists.
You said in the CHL, but on the screen you say he plays in the OHL.
Yes, OHL is in the CHL is part of the OHL. So if you're not aware, CHL is the Canadian Hockey League, which is no longer just Canada, but it's the CHL is comprised of the WHL, the Western Hockey League, the QMJHL, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, and the OHL, the Ontario Hockey League.
Gotcha. Okay.
All 3 of those each have their own playoff format, and then they play for the Memorial Cup every year. That's their big tournament. Which is usually a lot of fun. Usually because a lot of these kids are kids playing to make their next step. And I am opening up our conversation, and I've lost it now. I sent you the stats that I wanted to read off, because it's absolutely absurd that this guy isn't in the 28 games played, 46 points. And he's not even brought to camp.
Now, obviously, you follow this stuff more than I do. I wouldn't. When you sent me, oh my goodness, he didn't get, and I was like, who is he?
Which is fair.
After you had said it, I went and started reading the Twitter machine and doing a little bit of research before we came live. It really does sound, because I thought it was just you being goofy again, but it really does sound like this was a political move, kind of snubbing the OHL, CHL, because it's not the in league.
Well, and there are, like, I think 2 players being invited, 2 or 3 players being invited from the OHL to camp. But the fact that you're not bringing this defenseman, and I know there's a lot of talk being like there's too many players that are similar style to him, but the fact that he's again leading the OHL, he is a power play specialist, and he doesn't even get an invite. That's the biggest thing to me. Is he doesn't even get an invite to camp, and he's a top caliber player. It's wild to me because you can look at the stats and you can look at things, and it's hard to compare because they're all playing in different leagues. But looking through things and listening to other experts talking, like Sakaris and Price and J Pat and Thomas Drance, that there's one defenseman that's for sure better than him that's a lock for the team, and he's a left-handed defenseman. Hunter Brustevich is a right-handed defenseman. It's just there's no logic to me in any way, shape, or form. And if it is political because of different leagues and decisions that Brustevich made to make his career better, that is horse shit. You're muted, old man. I see your lips moving, but you're not talking.
So I muted myself. I didn't think everybody wanted to hear me coughing.
That's
When I go off screen, folks, that's why. It's usually because I'm coughing, and it's like nobody needs to hear that. It'd be good to get an insider to come in, and actually we can ask these questions to him.
Yeah.
I know you had posted about Thomas. Who was it?
Thomas Drance.
Yeah, I'd love to see if we can get him to come on the show and
before
the World Junior hits.
That would be huge. But we'll see what we can do. Now let's look ahead, because we've talked a lot here, and there's a couple things in the CFL world we want to talk to. Let's look ahead to this week's schedule for the Vancouver Canucks. Oh yeah.
Before we do that, can we give a shout out to Kevin Bieksa?
Yes, let's give a shout out to Kevin Bieksa. Why are we shouting out Kevin Bieksa this time?
Kevin, listen up, buddy. I think you have become
careful how you word it.
Sherry of Saturday nights. The 2023 version of Don Sherry. So he's not rude and disgusting and a racist like Don Sherry was, but he's freaking amazing on the mic. If you listen, Kevin, because I know you are. I know you listen to our show, Kevin.
We'd love to have you on.
Come on our show. Give us 15 minutes, Kev. Let's chat. It'd be fun.
I honestly feel, and I've heard him on different podcasts before, we'd say 15 minutes and we'd end up going for a 2-hour show.
And we would ask one question and go,
yeah. And we'd be laughing so hard that you'd be coughing like that the entire time.
Exactly. So that's my shout out. Kevin, I'm coming for you. I want you on the show.
Kevin's coming after Kevin. Be careful, guys. There's going to be a collision of the Kevins. That's awesome. Canucks schedule. The big one that everyone's going to be talking about this week is tomorrow night against the New Jersey Devils, because it'll be the first time that all three Hughes brothers are playing. We'll have Quinn, Jack, and Luke all supposedly in the lineup. Knock on wood that there's no injuries, no sickness for anyone, or any healthy scratches for whatever reason. But should be a fun game.
The Hughes brothers played hockey in their basement. This was their dream when they were 6 years old. When the youngest was 6.
Think not just that, but their mom is a Olympic gold medalist hockey player. Like that's why 46 or 43 is their numbers. That's because that's the number their mom wore.
Exactly. It's going to be special. What happens? Like, do you throw a hit on your brother? Do you lay him out?
Oh, I mean, Quinn and Jack have played against each other before.
Yes.
And they're very competitive. Throwing Luke in there, I think it's only going to make them more competitive, because now you have an apple-to-apple comparison of two defensive brothers playing against each other.
It's going to be fun to watch. I, for one, will be watching whistle to whistle.
Now, this is something that'll always be brought up as long as all three of them are in the league. Will they play one season, all three of them on the same team?
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
How much money would you put on that? Because I'd put good money that the three of them at one point will say, let's all take a pay cut. We've made our money. Let's go to one team. And who knows where
And
it's going
have
to be.
fun.
I would love for it to be Vancouver because
Whichever.
Quinn is the captain, or New Jersey. Like, as much as that would pain me to watch him go play for the Devils, or any team down in the States or across Canada, any team, to have all three Hughes brothers on one would be something special.
It's never happened, obviously. We've had twins. No, because this is the first time three brothers have played in a game. You said it, the first time ever in the NHL.
For the three Hugheses.
Oh, I thought you meant for the three brothers.
No, I think I'm 80% sure that the Stahl brothers played in one game. There's three Stahls that played in one game. I don't know if they've played on the same team though.
Yeah. Dom is agreeing with you, the Stahls, and now that you're saying it, you're probably right.
I know they've played in the same game together. I just don't know if they've played on the same team together.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool to see, for sure.
And again, like you said, we've had the twins in Vancouver. Let's come on out to the West Coast. It's beautiful out here. We'd pay you very well, and that would just elongate this window we have. So the rest of the schedule this week is we have the New Jersey Devils on Tuesday, the Minnesota Wild on Thursday, and then a Saturday night game against the Carolina Hurricanes. All three games at home in Vancouver in Rogers Arena. What is a win for you this week, old man?
I'm thinking same thing as this week. Win one, lose one, win one. I think 2-1.
I think 2-1 would be an exceptional result. I think this is out of the games that we've been doing, this kind of look ahead and predict what we think. This has been our most difficult week. We don't have any backs-to-backs. We don't have any travel, which is really nice. But we have two teams that are Stanley Cup caliber, and we have the Minnesota Wild in there. So I'm going to go, and because I like to hedge my bets, and I'm going to do what I always do when I hedge my bets and say 1-1-1.
You always do that.
Okay, there's 6 points available. If we get 3, that's a win.
You probably do. If you see a sign that says wet paint, you probably don't touch it, do you?
Depends on the mood and the color of the paint. Because if it's an obnoxious color paint, hell yeah, I'm touching it. So I can touch all the other walls and get those walls all covered in paint. All three Stahls played on Carolina, apparently. Thank you for the research there, Dom.
Started the same line against the Rangers, he says. The Rangers being Dom's team.
It is true. Now, as I said, we talked a lot about the Canucks here, where we did have some CFL news to talk about. So let's wrap that up real quick. It was announced this past week that Touchdown Pacific is happening, not Atlantic this year, and Vancouver Island will host the BC Lions and the Ottawa Redblacks for the first ever Touchdown Pacific game on Labor Day weekends, which is huge.
It's not Labor Day.
Yeah, it's Labor Day weekend. It's a Saturday of Labor Day weekend.
No. Labor Day is September long weekend, isn't it?
And this game happens on
July-August long weekend, I thought.
Oh, is it? Give me 1 second. I had it up.
I could be wrong.
Let me. I thought it was.
I was sure it was July something. The July-August long weekend.
I'm opening it up. Give me 1 second.
I don't think it's September.
August 31st, 2024.
Oh, it is.
September long weekend.
It is a
Labor Day weekend game against Ottawa.
Makes no sense, but Canucks. The Lions don't. Timing. But I'm excited about it. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't know it was Labor Day. But anyways, you said not Touchdown Atlantic this year. They haven't said they're not going to do a Eastern game.
Well, so in the press release, and I'm reading here from 13th Man Sports, Touchdown Pacific is the 8th edition of CFL's Touchdown Series. First known as Touchdown Atlantic, going back to a 2005 preseason game. So it looks like they're consolidating the Touchdown Atlantic and Pacific to just Touchdown and where it's located. So this might be this year's touchdown
Oh, could
series.
be. I would love to see it do like touchdown Pacific and a touchdown Atlantic in the same year. Why not?
If you're going to do that, I think you should make it the same teams. And Ottawa hosts BC
In Atlantic.
in the Atlantic,
That would be cool.
right? Because then you're building a rivalry.
Which BC just doesn't have.
No, I
Which
mean
is sad.
it's hard because there's no even if the divisions were balanced, there it's still an awkward number because
Yes.
you have Saskatchewan and Winnipeg, you have the Alberta teams, then you've got BC.
And then you've got Toronto and Hamilton, natural rivalry. And you've got
But then
Montreal.
well, Montreal Ottawa could very easily be a rivalry. Ottawa Toronto could be a rivalry. Like,
And they've never really pushed that rivalry, the Toronto Ottawa, the Toronto Montreal,
no,
Montreal Ottawa. It's never really been pushed the way Calgary Edmonton has and
in the
Winnipeg.
Banjo Bowl,
The Banjo Bowl happened it was such a
it was an organic thing.
yeah, because their kicker Troy Westwood, is the one who named it Banjo Bowl because he said something about them banjo playing riders
And then
um
the media jumped on that and turned it into a thing.
exactly. So no, I'm excited about it. We talked about going.
Something that I
And
think we should definitely do, especially it being the long weekend.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Definitely could be building something very cool because if that's the September long weekend and then you've got September and a part of October, or you got
Well,
September and October, and then you're into the playoffs.
and you
Don't
always say that's um
the
sorry,
season
that
starts
the
Labor
season
Day.
starts at Labor Day. So
That's
like
correct.
that's really the kickoff to the playoff push.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I'm excited about it. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do with that stadium because I checked the stadium out. It's like 7,000, maybe 8,000 tops they could fit in there.
You got to bring in a bunch of
Well, they're saying 12 to
movable
15.
double the capacity. That's huge.
Like I don't know what they're going to do, but it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. I don't know if we can get tickets for it. We could try to see if we can get go as a press, but that probably wouldn't let you in just because we're so new.
Never hurts to ask. Worst case scenario, they say no. Best case scenario, they say
They
yeah,
say
let's
yes.
go.
Exactly. If not, I think knowing our owner, he's probably going to make a weekend festival out of this. So even if we
I think the
don't,
CFL would be stupid not to be
yeah,
honest.
even if we don't go to the game, we can go to the festival portion of it and be there for the
The
do some
festivities.
interviews, do some man on the streets, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun.
And then something you want to bring up, and that I'm honestly just tired of talking about it, and I thought we were finally done talking about this, but you put it in your notes today. Don't roll your eyes at me. You put it in your notes.
I'm trying to see which one you're talking about because I don't see it.
CFL expansion. I'm done. I'm tired of talking about it. It's been 30 years of us talking about this.
Ambrosi, come close. Lean in, Randy. Randy, just go away. He's now saying that he wants to take one last shot at an Atlantic expansion before he gives up on it. How many shots do you get? The whistle blew. The crowd is left. You're on the ice by yourself. They've turned the fucking lights out. It's time to walk away, Randy. Quebec's calling.
Do you think so? Quebec has been rumored as of recently to be getting a team or wanting a team or having an ownership group to build a team.
Yes.
Do you think that that's more viable at this point than Moncton?
It's gotta be. Seriously, like how many times can you throw that dart? And you're not only missing the board, Jake, Like there's the board, and then there's the box the dartboard sits in the bar. You're
Yep.
outside the box. Matter of fact, you're so freaking bad. That dart went out the window, and it's 3/4 of the way down the road already.
Yep.
Like, move on. Quebec, great. It would be perfect scenario. Quebec City, have the Nordiques, the Quebec Nordiques.
See, I was thinking you go to the Expos name rather
Quebec
than
Expos.
right rather than the Nordiques,
I don't
because
think
as soon as
Montreal
someone
would
hears
like
Nordiques,
that.
they're going to think of hockey, and you want
Montreal
that
would
separate.
hate that.
Good.
Right? They would be like, what? So Quebec Nordiques, Montreal, Quebec Expos. I don't like the name Quebec Expos. That runs off the tongue wrong.
Quebec City Expos,
Yeah.
QCE.
Just because
I
it
think
was Montreal Expos. I mean, that was
yeah.
my team way back when I was in grade 9. I like the Expos. Yeah, man. I had the hat. I had everything. I had the jersey. I was an Expos
Terrible.
fan, buddy.
Terrible. I'm sorry for that.
Everybody else was
Next, you're going to say
that.
next you were going to say you're a Grizzlies fan too.
No. Couldn't watch basketball.
Sorry. Have you seen the Aboriginal logo for tomorrow's game? Tomorrow's game, I think.
I did.
The vibes I get from it are Vancouver Grizzly vibes.
Yes, very much so.
Right? Like if you the color scheme, the just the vibe, and it's close colors, but it's not that close. It just I saw it and I was like, that reminds me of the Grizzlies, like the lush greenness, the hints of blue in there. It's a really, really cool looking. If you haven't checked it out, do check it out. But old man, we are almost out of time here. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we are out of time? That's a long pause, which means he's got nothing. There's no one home at the Hughes house. However, you beautiful human beings, I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out and chatting with us. If you guys do want to follow us, you can do so on Facebook, X, or Twitter, or whatever you want to call it. Instagram, TikTok at HSP_pod. We are posting there as much as we can, more and more and more. We will be back here next Monday, with a very, very special guest. Old man, do you want to announce who our guest is? Because we didn't tease it at all.
I'm going to my Twitter machine.
He's going to the Twitter machine.
This
is a guy. If you're on Canucks Twitter, you will know who this is.
So if you follow the Canucks Twitter whatsoever, I'm not going to say his name right now because I did ask him if it was okay to promote his appearance. He did say he's coming on the show next week. It's a him, but I haven't been given permission to promote his name yet. So what I will say in the meantime, in between time, who the hell is the devil?
It's a very good question. And you beautiful human beings, you can find the old man on that old Twitter machine, the old X machine, or I guess the new X machine, whatever it is you want to call it. You can find him at Kev Hughes 64 because he still hasn't changed his goddamn handle. You can find me at J Streams, JEH Streams, there, as well as on Twitch. This week I will be live on Wednesday. I'm working on something special, football related, and I will let you guys know when I know what's happening with that. But have yourselves a beautiful night, and goodbye.